Vital Intellect presents Royal Jelly. Chapter 7, Fight for Survival. She tries to sneak in the back. She doesn't want Lucille to catch her again, not in this shape. Athena tried her hardest tonight, but she just couldn't manage to best her opponent. It was so frustrating. Someone who a year ago wouldn't have been able to stand in the same ring as her, tonight she struggled to survive against. She touches the lump on the side of her cheek. It is black from bruising. She stresses how she'll hide it until it's healed. As she walks through the rear kitchen door from the outside, she is greeted by Lucille. She stands at the counter, drinking from a glass of wine, with a wine bottle in front of her, quarter filled. She looks furious, her face stern and her eyes piercing. Athena sighs and attempts to hide her face behind her hair. "Again?" Lucille asks. Athena doesn't answer. Lucille puts down her glass and walks over to her. She reaches for Athena's chin, and she resists her. Lucille reaches in again and forces Athena's face up. She sucks her teeth at the sight of her face. She sees the black lump on her left cheek, and the cut above her eyelid. She pulls Athena's face in close to hers and says, "Listen to me." Athena attempts to fight her off, and Lucille pulls her in closer. "Listen to me. You need to cut this shit out. God, look at you. You're fucking useless." Athena finally manages to pull away from Lucille. She hangs her head low as Lucille continues to chastise her. "If you keep coming home like this, from whatever the fuck you're doing out there, you're done. Do you hear me? Done." Okay, Athena says in a soft tone, as Lucille points her finger in her face. Lucille instructs Athena to take a bath and ensure her scars and bruises are covered with makeup tomorrow. Lucille walks away, muttering profanities. Athena lets out a sigh of relief. She grabs the wine bottle that Lucille left and takes a swig. She goes into one of the freezers in the kitchen, grabs a bag of mixed vegetables, and puts it on her cheek. She holds the cold bag of vegetables between her cheek and shoulder, takes a hold of the wine bottle again, and heads upstairs. After sitting in the bath, icing her cheek, and downing the last bit of wine, she lays in her bed. She stares at the ceiling for what seems like hours, pondering her situation. She's been jogging and spending every morning doing calisthenics before catering to her clients. She's been outside, in the yard behind the brothel, punching and kicking an old mattress tied to a tree. She even became used to the smell of mildew and urine coming off it as she strikes it. Still, more than not, Athena has lost matches in the underground league, and this is far from the first time Lucille caught her trying to sneak in after a brutal night. Athena has not quite felt herself yet. Despite her handicap, she knows she can fare better than she has. Regardless, she must fight again in 3 days. There's an opportunity to win a big purse that she cannot afford to miss. But it's a large risk. If she's bested again, she may not only lose her ability to compete in the league, but lose her position at Lucille's. She lays low for the next 2 days, resting and taking on as few clients as she can. On the day of the event, she eats a large carb-filled meal, goes out for a short run, and hits the mattress to warm herself up. She feels good, vibrant. When she arrives at the venue, the crowd has an electric feel. The music is loud and up-tempo. Things are running on time tonight, so Athena does not have to wait long until her match is up, unlike most nights. She's been waiting in the back area. As she enters the event floor, she sees the bleachers are packed. There are flags being waved, some holding the kingdom's seal, others with the insignia of popular fighters and local gangs that tend to payroll these events. Athena walks to her corner with no fanfare, no entourage, and no entrance music. This contrasts with her opponent, a short yet stout woman with almond-shaped eyes and fair, golden-colored skin. Her bone-straight black hair is tied above her head in a tight bun, and she has a white headband with her insignia in the center. She marches to her side of the arena cage with a brisk pace. Behind her are several men, much thinner than she is, waving flags with her insignia blazoned across them. She has a white, stylish jacket draped around her shoulders, contrasting with her Under Armour tank top and tight-fitting wrestling shorts. Before entering the cage, the woman turns to the crowd, raises her arms high in the air, and the crowd cheers. She turns away from the crowd, rolls her shoulders back, shrugging off the jacket. One of her attendees helps her with removing her headband. She enters the ring and makes eye contact with Athena and grimaces. Athena smirks as her opponent breaks eye contact to converse with her numerous cornermen. Her name is Julia Feng. Athena doesn't know much about her other than she frequents these underground games and has done quite well for herself. She hasn't earned any titles yet, but she's on her way. Considering her high rank, if Athena beats her tonight, she'll advance in the rankings and win a handsome purse. If she loses, it may be a while before she has another shot like this, especially after losing her previous fight. Her face is obviously bruised and scarred from the last match. She knows that Julia will attempt to reopen her cut and blind her eye with blood. Most of Athena's opponents are usually thrown off by her missing arm. This allows most to become overconfident, leaving them open in certain ways. Julia seems like the simple-minded type, so she'll probably fall into that trap. Athena jumps up and down, shaking out her limbs in anticipation. The announcer introduces her. The crowd doesn't react much, just some quiet whispers, finger-pointing, and curious stares. Then they introduce her opponent. Once they go through her bio and stats, they announce her name, Julia the Crusher Fuang. The crowd erupts in cheer and applause while Julia holds up one fist. She keeps on a placid expression the whole time, avoiding looking directly at Athena. The two meet in the center of the ring. Athena looks down at her opponent, slightly shorter than she is. She looks up at Athena with that expressionless face. Her eyes are nearly crossed and seem to lack any interest. Still, she rocks back and forth with nervous anticipation. Athena is barely listening to the referee as he recites the rules. She instead focuses on her opponent, staring down at her. Tonight, she wins. They are told to go into their corners. They then turn to face each other. Julia has her cloth-wrapped fists on guard. She bounces back and forth in a boxing-style fighting stance. Athena just stands still. The referee stands in between the two fighters and extends his arms towards each one. "Listos, pelea!" the referee yells as he forces both of his hands down and steps out of the way of the pair. They approach each other as the crowd roars. Julia bounces forward, keeping a tight boxing stance. Athena walks in and throws a straight punch at her opponent's head. Julia dodges and catches Athena with a left thrust punch. Her body quakes from the impact. The crowd reacts, and Julia follows up with a left hook that catches Athena square onto her temple. She's floored by the punch, and the crowd goes crazy. Flushed with embarrassment, Athena immediately stands. The referee comes in and checks Athena, looking attentively at her eyes. He asks her if she can continue, and she nods her head. The referee centers the two in the ring and continues the fight. Athena hangs back, looking to take advantage of their height difference. Julia bobs in place for a moment, then comes in at Athena. Athena drops into a guard stance, putting her fist close to her chin. Julia throws a jab and Athena deflects it. She throws another, feigns to the right, then comes in for a left hook to Athena's body. Athena deflects the hook and catches Julia across the chin with an elbow. The crowd reacts to the counterattack as Julia pulls away. She looks at Athena with a shocked expression. Julia huffs, shakes her arms as if she's shaking something off, and comes in again. She throws some more jabs at Athena, circling left. Athena keeps herself out of range, allowing the jabs to catch nothing but air. Julia throws a low right-hand thrust that Athena dodges, then follows with a left jab. The jab flies over Athena's left shoulder. Then, Athena feels her grab the back of her neck and pull her in. Julia knees Athena in the gut. She lets out a groan from the impact, and before she knows it, she finds herself in the air. Julia scoops her up from her groin and slams her to the ground. On her back, Athena begins to panic and attempts to scramble away from her opponent. Julia chases Athena, throwing punches at her face as she shimmies backwards. Athena manages to rise to her feet, but as she does, Julia circles and moves behind her. Athena panics again, terrified that Julia will take her back. She throws a spinning back punch to counter, and Julia ducks it. Athena, now facing Julia, throws a knee and Julia blocks it. With both her hands down blocking the knee, Athena throws a jab and connects to her face. The crowd roars and cheer, and Athena connects with another jab. She then switches her lead foot and throws a right thrust. Julia blocks it. There is blood flowing from Julia's nose. She has a panicked expression as she hides behind her arms. Athena smirks. She throws two more jabs at her opponent, forcing her back. She then throws a rear leg round kick and buries it in Julia's side. Julia bends her body into the kick. The pain she's in is obvious on her face. Athena takes advantage, throws another jab, and as Julia reacts and blocks, Athena ducks low and grabs her lead leg. She hoists it up and forces Julia backwards onto the ground. Soon as her back hits the ground, Julia scrambles to stand. Athena kicks her legs out from under her as she attempts. She then shimmies down onto the ground after Julia. She grabs her body into side control, then buries her knee into her belly. From there she mounts Julia. The crowd screams as Athena begins to pummel Julia's face with punch after punch. Julia attempts to block the strikes, but eventually succumbs to the blows. The referee rushes in, grabs Athena to stop her assault, and waves his hands to the judges. Athena rises to her feet, and the referee raises her hand as the winner. Everyone cheers, and Athena smiles. She's done it. She's won. As the crowd begins to calm, over the loudspeaker the announcer bellows that someone from the crowd has challenged Athena. If she accepts and fights the challenger tonight, her purse will be doubled if she wins. But if she loses everything. And her purse goes to the challenger. This entices her, and she thinks of what to do. The crowd roars for her to take the challenge. They begin to chant, "Haslo! Haslo!" Athena grins. The announcer enters the ring and asks her if she'll do it. Athena looks out at the crowd, still chanting. The announcer puts the mic to Athena's mouth and she answers yes. The crowd explodes in cheer. Athena begins to bounce in place, shaking out her limbs in anticipation of her next fight. Then the announcer begins. "Okay, here comes your new challenger. A local legend and hometown girl, Jessica Guerrera." Athena's stomach sinks at the announcement. Jessica, the attendant from when Empress signed her up for the league, the one that attempted to embarrass her, making her run the obstacle course. Athena has been waiting for a chance to take her on, but she doesn't feel ready for that sort of challenge, especially after fighting Julia. Jessica is formidable, and this may prove disastrous. Jessica comes up the steps to the cage's entrance. She jumps onto the mat and looks directly at Athena. She smirks at her, raising her eyebrow in taunt. Jessica grabs her fist and begins to crack her knuckles. "Time to get paid, ho!" Jessica stands in full confidence, wearing her usual black tank top and sweatpants. Instead of shoes, she wears shin guards that lead into thin footpads. Athena grimaces at her and then cracks her neck. Jessica scoffs and walks into her corner. The referee brings both women into the center of the ring. He reiterates the rules and tells both women to go into their corners. Athena is beginning to regret her decision. She licks her lips and realizes how thirsty she is but has no water to drink. She feels foolish for not having a corner person. But who would she use? The referee stands in the middle of the ring, then begins the fight. The two women approach each other. Jessica walks up to Athena in a natural stance. Athena enters a guard stance and throws a jab once her opponent is in range. Jessica bends back and dodges. Athena follows up with several more jabs, and Jessica dodges each one with ease. Athena backs off for a moment to regroup. Jessica circles her, her hands still at her sides. Athena then comes in with another high jab, then a rear front kick. Jessica dodges the jab and blocks the kick. She then counters with a cross. Athena stumbles from the blow. She regains her balance, and Jessica is now on guard. She approaches Athena and throws several jabs. Athena dodges them. She comes in and attempts to catch Jessica with a rising knee. Jessica moves out of the way, circling to the left, and hits Athena square in the gut with a thrust punch and follows with a hook to the head. Athena's ears begin to ring from the impact. Jessica continues her assault with a flurry of strikes. Athena pedals back to avoid them. She backs all the way to the cage. Cornered, Jessica begins to strike her midsection repeatedly. Athena blocks the blows as best she can until Jessica connects another right hook to the head. This one dazes her, and she falls forward onto her opponent. Jessica holds her up, whispering in her ear, "It's better to get fucked on your back than on your feet," and pushes Athena off her. The taunt enrages her. She runs in and Jessica catches her square with a jab. She follows up with another jab, but Athena blocks. Jessica goes low for the body again. Athena deflects the blows but begins to feel fatigued. Athena backs away and Jessica throws a roundhouse kick. Athena blocks, steps in and throws a haymaker hook at Jessica's head. Jessica ducks and counters with a cross right onto Athena's chin. She falls. She lays on her stomach, rocking back and forth. The referee is holding Jessica back, keeping her from continuing the assault. The ref asks Athena if she can stand. The words echo in her ears as if he's far away. After a moment of her not responding, the referee calls the fight in Jessica's favor. The crowd cheers. Athena has never been in so much pain. She is drained of energy and cannot stand. Jessica comes over to her and crouches down. She whispers in her ear, "I told you, whores don't belong here. You'll never be ready for this. You can't compete here, Athena." The words do little to add to the pain she's already in. Several days later, Athena is lying in her bed. She moans and rolls back and forth in pain. The room is dark, with the sun nearly set. Athena has bought her own room for nearly 2 weeks, setting back her earnings and savings goals considerably. She lays on her right side. It's less sore than her left. She believes her ribs may be bruised on that side. She grabs her jaw and moves it, hearing it click as it motions from side to side. Her headache begins to return. That, along with the soreness throughout her body, begins to overwhelm her. She gets out of bed and heads to the bathroom. She groans in pain as she sits up, irritating her entire left side. She freezes for a moment as the pain takes over. She then convinces herself to push through the pain and stands on her feet. She walks to the bathroom, the room spinning with every step. She grabs a bottle of pain pills. She attempts to open it, but it slips out of her hand. The pills spill into the sink. She sighs, looks at the bottle, picks it up, and the rest of the pills fall out. She grabs a handful of them out of the sink. Athena becomes nauseous while attempting to remember the last time she's cleaned the basin. Still, she puts 2 of the pills in her mouth and swallows them down with some water. She thinks about laying back down but feels she won't be able to sleep. It's dusk and it's the middle of the week, so it should be slow enough downstairs for her to risk grabbing a drink. She puts on her sandals and heads for her room's door. She opens the door, turns right, and sees Empress standing just outside her room. He startles her. He just stands there, one hip out. His head is tilted low and he stares up at her. Athena, feeling embarrassed, covering her face while slightly turning away from him in a half-hearted attempt at concealing her injuries. After a moment, Empress sighs and looks off to his side. He makes eye contact again and tells her, "Come see me when you're ready." He then turns on his heels and walks away. Athena didn't quite understand what he meant, but figures he's being his usual cryptic self. He must mean when she is ready to go back to fighting in the league. That idea seems so far away from her now. Right now, she needs to focus on healing. She turns around and goes back into her room. Weeks later, Athena is up and about. She is taking on clients again and is feeling much better. She decides to take the day off and go for a walk in the city streets. She goes to a local park she enjoys, stops by an ice cream parlor and picks up a vanilla scoop, and she window shops in the retail district. She eventually finds herself in the northern part of the city. She is not far from where she was raised, where she and her father once lived, within that filthy shack. She walks these familiar streets aimlessly, revisiting old shops, corners, and memories painted into the very concrete. Without realizing it, she comes into range of the slave camp. Her heart jumps. Her brow begins to sweat as her pulse quickens. Her eyes flutter as her breath becomes labored. She looks at the corner she'd need to round to put the camp into view. She wants to run, but instead stands still. She stares at the corner for a while. She then starts walking towards it. Finally, she rounds the corner and sees the slave camp. The tan, plain building that is the camp's entrance stands out amongst the gray and black structures that surround it. Its purposefully sterile design has an off-putting charm. She just stares at it for a while, and a feeling of catharsis comes over her. The building is her home. Flashes of Gabriella and her team of trainers run through Athena's mind. Eventually, the warm feeling of home fades as she realizes she cannot return there. She will not allow herself. She breathes in deep, takes one last look at the camp's facade, and leaves. As she heads down the street from where she came, she decides to take a train back towards home. As she comes near the station, she is halted by a mural. She stares at it for a while in disbelief. It is a mural of her team. They are together, facing in different directions. It is a surreal scene of them floating within golden-hued clouds. The faces and bodies are dramatically lit by the sun. They look proud, with expressions of nobility. Above them, written in a Gothic typeface, are the words Ángeles de nuestra ciudad, meaning the angels of our city. In the upper right-hand corner is a depiction of Jennifer. She holds onto her sword, looking outwards towards the viewer, towards Athena. Her eyes begin to water. She sniffles and begins to sob softly. It heartens her to see her friend immortalized, but it brings raw emotions she was not expecting to process today. She looks to the rest of her team, all beautiful, strong women. She thinks of each individually. She looks at Sophia's image. She thinks of her last moment, how she gave her life to save Athena's. Athena scoffs to herself, thinking, "Boy, and I thought I was gonna have to pull your ass out of the fire. I bet you're in heaven laughing at me now, huh? Buddha." Athena chuckles to herself. Then, towards the bottom of the mural, in its center, is her. She stands tall, hair braided back in cornrows, holding her shield close to her body in one hand and her sword in the other. Her expression is fierce and focused. It makes sense they would include her. She's sure, after disappearing from the hospital without a trace, she was as good as dead to everyone. But she's not dead. She stands right there. Any doubt Athena had about returning to the league die in front of that mural. She looks to her team and says, "Okay, ladies, bye for now. I promise you I'll be back in a year, and when I come back, they're gonna have to cover me over with some more clouds or some shit, 'cause I ain't ready to join y'all yet." Thank you for listening to Royal Jelly. Chapter 7, Fight for Survival. Stay tuned for Chapter 8, Spermathica, coming soon.